Hello, welcome back to You Choose. I'm your host, Ariel, and in today's episode, I wanted to discuss a show called Upload. Amazon decided to release a series named Upload in 2020 while we were all stuck at home. They wanted to make sure that we were all ready for what is to come. Upload is a series about a man who was a tech entrepreneur, and he and his business partner created a program that allows you to upload your consciousness to the cloud for free. In the show, the star ended up dying due to a self-driving car accident.
So, once the shutters are up to speed, scanner will start recording. I'm jealous, man. Lakeview is plush. This thing.
What's that for?
It's just for storage. Have fun.
Can we just hit the pause button here for a second?
Please look forward at the spot in front of you.
Oh, thank God. Mom!
Upload complete.
Hello, Nathan. I'm not expecting you to answer me yet. The system is sorting through a lot of information, but I'm going to count to 3. Try to count with me. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to Upload, Nathan. You made it to Lakeview, you lucky duck. I want you to think of yourself. The I in the sentence, I think, therefore I am. Okay, cool. Just gonna grab that. That'll be your password, or past thought. I'll always be able to use that to recognize you. Now, remember kindergarten? The alphabet song, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Think that for me. Yeah. Good. Now,
Consciousness was then uploaded to a program called Lakeview that happened to be owned by his girlfriend's family. During his time at Lakeview, the writers of the show introduced a lot of topics that I believe will be in our future. I want to discuss those multiple topics. But before I do that, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what the show was about, and then we'll dig into those topics. Shortly after the star of the show, whose name was Nathan, was uploaded to Lakeview, he met a customer service rep, or a angel, by the name of Nora. Nora was a poor girl, quote unquote, who was trying to obtain a loan for her father, who was dying due to his vape usage. So she needed to get some stars in order to
come in. I met with my bank, and they approved the loan for my dad's upload. Yay! As long as my employer, that's you, confirms in writing that I qualify for the employee discount.
What was wrong with him again?
Dad has vape lung. He thought it was safer than smoking, then all the studies came out.
I thought he didn't believe in Upload.
Well, he's still being a bit of a lud about it. But, when he sees I've spent the money...
I don't feel comfortable signing this. You need a 4.6 employee rating to qualify for that discount. Right now you're at 4.598, so...
Come on, I'm so close.
Here's what I'll do. You could hit a 4.6 today, but then you could slip under tomorrow. You hit a 4.8, and I'll sign this letter as written, no prob.
But I just need you to sign it.
Those are my rules.
Mind you, her father was against getting uploaded because he believed in the dying process and going to either heaven or hell. So during their time together, Nathan and Nora became very cozy. Shortly after that, Nathan did attend his own funeral. Now,
Oh, Anglo-Saxon.
Nathan, I barely knew him. Hey, E-Money. What's up?
Fuck me, I forgot.
Yeah, you're dead, man. What's up?
Take some of that action.
For the celebration of our dearly uploaded Nathan Brown. Brought to you by L'Oreal. Please enjoy a randomly generated slideshow.
Excuse me, thank you. Thank you all for being here to celebrate in this beautiful location with a well-curated menu and tasteful floral arrangements. Though today has been blissfully perfect in many ways, we need to remember a tragic event that happened to a very important person. Rupert Tilford.
What?
The download misfire was a shock to us all. What was wrong with my speech?
Well, you didn't even mention me. I mean, not that I got to choose any details, but to not even be mentioned?
Hey, do you have something?
At Nathan's funeral, he was able to basically be with his guests that were visiting him for his funeral, but then he was also dead, so he was also living in Lakeview. They were merging realities. After that, his girlfriend decided to get a sex suit in order to consummate, I guess, his death.
Hi. You look a little lost. Can I help you?
Hi, yes, I'm looking to rent a sex suit. It's my boyfriend's funeral tonight, and I want it to be special for him.
Well, you know how they work, right?
Shortly after that, they tried to figure out how to get Nora's father to agree to basically living in Lakeview for the rest of his eternity. By doing that, they asked their dad to go ahead and come and visit Lakeview to see whether or not he would like it there. The dad experienced a glitch in the program and realized how strange Lakeview really was. After that, Nathan began to realize that he was missing some consciousness, or he was missing some memories. So they had went back in time to see what exactly he was missing in his consciousness. That is when Nathan realized that it was some sort of corruption that was going on.
Only I've just been dumped.
Oh, you are such a baby.
Yes, a baby.
Yeah.
Who heard what you two were planning and snuck back into the car and changed it to protect occupant. This baby did that.
Are you fucking kidding me?
You!
Yeah, I'm really sorry, Daddy.
We need to be a united front. You need to stay on script.
Or maybe you need to get better at adapting, and we're partners. I don't work for you.
Well, you didn't file the papers of incorporation. I did. We have a verbal agreement, and I'll stick with it, but don't push me.
You bring this shit up now, after I bust my ass for the last 2 years?
Okay. Let's not turn on each other. We both want the same thing.
Do we, Jamie? Because from here, it looks like you want to play the part of a tech mogul, and I actually want to do shit and make money for my family. I don't care who gets the credit.
Okay, shut this down. They're coming. United front.
Was on the same page yet?
Yeah. We're sticking with the cavern,
So, small time.
but we keep control.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Oliver. You know what? Don't worry about it. I'll get over it. Oh, you and Ingrid still on for dinner Friday night? Of course. Good. I'll see you then.
A beautiful home, Mr. Canterman.
Ah, well, thank you, Nathan. You know, there was a house for sale just down the street. I don't suppose your mom would like to live here, would she?
Well, my mom can barely afford rent on her one bedroom, so,
Yeah. It's too bad it didn't work out with Beyond and us. My partners are willing to go a lot higher.
well, my partner's a little stubborn.
You know, Nathan, the real value of Beyond is that code that you made. Now, we would be willing to pay a significant amount for just a copy.
Jamie would never go for that.
No, I didn't think you would. Of course, you wouldn't have to know.
Once they put his consciousness all the way back together, they realized that Nathan was killed due to the program that he created. So him and Nora was basically chased by an individual who was trying to kill Nora in the physical realm while Nathan was still in Lakeview. Shortly after that, Nora had to basically run away from the city that she lived in, And this is when she had joined a group of quote unquote Christians. They didn't call them Christians in the show, but they were basically Christians who were anti-technology. And she lived there with them for a while, and she ended up falling in love with someone a part of this camp. Long story short, she ended up going back to Lakeview, where Nathan and Nora fell in love, and they wanted to download Nathan's consciousness into his body in order for them to live happily ever after, even though Nathan was dead. There's more to the story. There's a whole third season of this story, but let's get into the reason why I've created this video. Now that you kind of got a gist of the whole series of Upload, let's talk about the topics or the things that stood out to me and made me realize that Amazon and the writers of Amazon wanted to prepare us for a new reality that is on our horizon. The first thing that really caught my attention was the self-driving cars. In the show, they made it seem like the self-driving cars was so safe and that no one would ever die in the self-driving cars. But what made me go, wow, this is odd, is that the self-driving cars were hackable. So if you upset the wrong person who was able to hack the self-driving car, it could possibly kill you, which is very disturbing. And as we know now, they do have self-driving cars. Uber has a self-driving car. Tesla has a self-driving car. Cadillac has a self-driving car. Apple has a self-driving car. So self-driving cars are present in our reality today. Another topic that was very prevalent in the show is uploading your consciousness. Now, we know that that's something that we cannot do now. And honestly and truthfully, I don't believe that's something that would be able to happen in the future, simply because our consciousness, our spirit, our being is handled by the Most High. These people don't have the technology to upload our consciousness to a hard drive and then put it in a computer program. Is no way that they'll be able to do that. But it's very interesting that they believe that they can. Now let's talk about Lakeview, because Lakeview in and of itself was so funny to me because it was their attempt to try and play quote unquote God. They made the customer service representatives, their names were angels. They kept trying to push the fact that Lakeview was heaven. It was a form of heaven, but it was heaven for the non-believer. Now in Lakeview, you still had to deal with advertising. They still were trying to sell you things. You still had to spend your family's money or spend your money that you left behind, because in their world, nothing is free. Now in reality, when you die and go to heaven and or hell, wherever you may go, it's no money. It's no way to purchase anything. It's a whole new thing, something that this world has no idea. But they were really trying to push the fact that even in the afterlife, the corporations are out to make money, which I thought was very funny. They also had classism in Lakeview in this afterlife, in their quote unquote heaven, which we know is not going to be prevalent in the true heaven. But the classism was for the people who were considered the unlimited people, who had unlimited gigabytes. They could do whatever they wanted to do. Basically, they were literally the people who were rich in their actual lives before they had died. Then they had the 2Gs. The 2G people were the people who were probably poor in their lives before they had died. So they only had 2 gigabytes a month, and if they used those gigabytes, they just kind of just stood in oblivion. They had no sort of life if they used their gigabytes. So it just shows that their being, their consciousness was based off of how much money they had, which we know does not coincide with the true heaven or hell. Like I stated, they were trying to imitate heaven. They were trying to cast the Most High out of their reality and try to create a reality for themselves, which was very, very strange. Another thing that I wanted to discuss is the fact that they were trying to merge the living with the dead. Now we know that that term is called necromancy, which is a way of contacting the dead when you're alive. But what these people were trying to do was make it seem like this was a normal thing. They had the living and the dead dating, and in order for them to have sex, they had a sex body of some sort where the living person will they will put their body into this suit, and they were able to feel the person who was dead through this suit that they had, which is kind of silly when you think about it. But they were really trying to push, living people dating dead people, which we know that goes directly against the Bible. The Bible tells us to not try to speak to the dead, like the dead is dead, let the dead bury the dead. But these people were trying to make it normal for you to date a person who was already dead. That was the whole premise of this show, was that Nora was alive and Nathan was dead, and they fell in love. Nathan even said that the reason why he was okay with being at Lakeview is because Nora was there. So they were trying to normalize necromancy. They also had the dead attending their own funeral, which I thought was very strange. Meaning, if you died, you can see who was all at your funeral, you can see who cried, you can see, what happened basically, which was very odd. They were mixing realities, which was another thing that I noticed very heavy, is that they were basically pushing their whole metaverse, which meta means dead. So they were pushing like the metaverse basically. They had the dead and the living basically living together in harmony, in a sense. If you were wanting to talk to your dead relative, you could just put on your VR glasses and you could talk to them, and it was no problem. It wasn't hard to get in contact with them. They could just contact you, and it was not a big deal. And all of this was done through your virtual reality glasses. If you watched my video on virtual reality, then you would know that this is what they want to do. They want to blur the lines completely between reality, between living, and between the dead, and this virtual reality that they're trying to create. That another thing that really was very odd and very strange to me is that they tried to claim that the people who just wanted to die naturally and did not want to upload their consciousness was living in the past or living old or whatever the case may be. And that was seen with Nora and her father. Nora wanted her father to get uploaded into Lakeview, so she was trying to get a scholarship or a grant of some sort from Lakeview, or a loan or something like that from Lakeview, in order to upload her father once he died from vaping, which was kind of funny. But so what they did was they tried to make it seem like her dad was living in the past, because he decided that he just wanted to die and just either go to heaven or go to hell. He didn't want to get uploaded. He didn't think that that was natural and or possible. And then that's when they had that episode where her father went to Lakeview, and it just so happened that Lakeview had some sort of glitch, and her father was able to see Lakeview for what it really was, which is a computer program and not the true afterlife. So they tried to make it seem like people who wanted to live a traditional life or just die the way that they were supposed to die were out of date, which is something that they're pushing. If you're not trying to live the way that they want you to live, then you are considered out of date. You are considered behind the times. You are considered quote unquote traditional, which is a bad thing in today's society. Another thing was when Nora was running away from the guy who was chasing her, she had went to live off grid with the quote unquote Christians. They didn't call them Christians in the show, but they were Christians in a sense, because they had a pastor. The pastor was kind of like over the top. They were living off the grid. They did not have, all the technology, the virtual reality. They didn't have these hand things that they were using to be like their phones. They didn't have none of that. They were just living off the grid. They were anti-technology, and they tried to make it seem like those people were odd or those people were strange. But in reality, those people are living in reality and not this false reality that they were trying to create. Another strange thing is that the people in the show, their devices were in their hands. So it seems as though these people had some sort of chip or some sort of mark or something where they were able to see their phones in their hands. And I'll place a clip of that here. But if you see here, they're able to see their phones, see their devices in their hands. So in this show, the things that they were pushing is what they want your reality to look like. They want you to be chipped so that you will be able to have your device in your hand, available to you at all times. They want you to get comfortable with merging your reality with the living and with the dead. They want you to think that you're able to upload your consciousness. They want you to think that you can still date a person who has died. They want you to, want to drive self-driving cars. They want you to be comfortable with that new reality. Another thing that we are seeing in today's society is that they had printed food and people were eating printed food. A lot of times it was the poor people in the show that ate the printed food. They did have real food, but only the rich were able to access and enjoy real food. It was actually a small girl that was on the show that was the niece of Nathan, and she had never had real food before. So when she had went over to Nathan's girlfriend's house, who happened to be very rich, who family owned Lakeview, she was able to eat real food, and it was something that she had never experienced before. They want this classism thing to go to a totally different level. They want the poor to completely be addicted and so far gone in regards to technology that all they know is technology. But in order for you to really live in reality, you have to be rich. Only the rich will be afforded a true reality. But if you are poor, in order for you to live well, you have to be attached to your technology, to this beast system. This show was very, very cryptic. They had a lot of things in this show that they are wanting to bring to the forefront, and that is already here right now in the forefront for us to experience, for us to basically live a life like this. It's just people like me, or people maybe like you, are keeping reality alive, and they call people like us weirdos, and people like us had to live off grid in order to live in reality. If you were to live in the cities, if you were to live in their reality, you had to be a part of the program. You had to have the chip, you had to eat the printed food, you had to agree with the uploading of consciousness, you had to merge your living life with the dead, you had to get along with the program. If you were not along with the program, then you had to be outcasted, you had to live off grid, you had to gather in communities that were like-minded like you had to be pushed out of their reality. They're creating a reality, merging the living with the dead. And that is exactly what is happening now. So Upload, I would say, was a very interesting show if you had eyes to see and ears to hear what they were pushing. If you just got caught up in the theatrics of the show, in the love story, in the, sci-fi-ism of the show, then you watched it and you may have enjoyed it. But if you really looked at the underlying thought process of the people who wrote this show, then you would know that there is a big grand agenda that these people are trying to push. And my reality, and what I know as true, and what the Bible says, they will not get very far with this reality that they're trying to create. They may be able to chip people. They may be able to even have your phone on your hand to where you don't even have to have a physical phone. You can just open your hand and see your phone. They may be able to have virtual reality. They may be, well, they have that already, but they may be able to have printed food. They may be able to have where you put on your VR glasses and you think you're seeing your loved ones. You think you're seeing, someone who may have died, but in actuality you are conversing with demons, and that's just the truth about it. When you die, that's it. Is no way, even through their technology, even through their whatever they have going, is no way that they're going to be able to make this reality that they're trying to create possible. It's just no way, because there is a higher power, Yahuwah, and he is the one who's over life and death. So these people, they don't have the ability to be over life and death. They don't have the ability to upload your consciousness to a hard drive or to a computer program. They don't have that ability. It's not possible. So don't get caught up in that lie, because they're going to try to push that. They don't want people to believe that, oh yeah, you need to believe in the Most High. You need to live correctly, because when you live correctly, that will determine whether or not that will determine where you will be in your afterlife. They want you to believe that you can live any way that you possibly want to live, and when you die, you can upload your consciousness to a hard drive and live in a program kind of like Lakeview. It's just not reality. So it's going to get a lot of people. It's going to get people who believe in this system, who believe in technology, who loves technology, who's addicted to technology, who's excited for the metaverse, who's excited for these things to come to the forefront because they want to be their own gods. They want to create their own heaven or create their own afterlife. So they're going to get people like that to be confused and to think that they're going to be able to live like this, but in reality they're going to die and perish, and there's no way outside of that unless you give your life to Yahshua. So don't get deceived by this show Upload. The show itself was entertaining. The concepts that they brought out, if you are into sci-fi, was entertaining. It's definitely a long, overdrawn episode of Black Mirror. That's exactly what it is. Netflix came out with Black Mirror to prepare you for the reality that they want, and Amazon did their part with this show Upload. But please know that it's all a deception. These people, these higher up, these elites, they want to have an Upload. Trust me, they want to have a Lakeview because they don't want to burn and perish in hell. They want to live forever. They want to live with the things that they have obtained in this world because they know that once they die, it's a wrap. And that lie that Satan told them that they can live forever, that they can do this, that they can do that, is not true, and they don't want to believe that. So they're going to come out with all these things so that you can be as deceived as they are. But in reality, trust and believe there is a heaven and there is a hell, and if you don't live according to the way that Yahuwah has told you to live, you will go to hell, and it's not an upload for you to go to. So just keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I didn't spoil too much of the show. If you want to watch the show, watch it with eyes to see and ears to hear. Do not be deceived. Please subscribe to this channel, like the video, listen to the podcast Diary of a Hebrew Girl. Thank you so much. Bye bye.